Today, we are set up right outside the Baxter Community Center in the 3rd Ward, and this location is no accident. That's because our guest today is one of the commissioners of the 3rd Ward, Senita Lenear. Why this spot specifically?
Well, Baxter Community Center is exactly what this title suggests. It's a community center. There's so many different programs that exist here inside those walls as well as out in the community. And I just thought it's the perfect place to land to have some discussions about the 3rd Ward.
It seems that way because before we hit record on these cameras, so many people have filtered by, stopped to talk with us, going in and out of these doors that you said are always open.
That's right. That's right. And that's exactly what you get. We've seen children. We've seen people donating clothes. We see that there is a greenhouse.
Yeah.
We know that there are many programs for youth. There's a basketball or gym down in this building.
What are we doing here? We should be in there right now.
That's right. I can hoop a little bit, Max.
Okay. Then we'll save that for another time.
That's right.
Lenear has lived in the 3rd Ward for almost her entire adult life, more than 30 years. She was elected as one of the commissioners back in 2014, becoming the first African-American woman to step into that role.
What exactly does that title mean to you, and how do you want to do that justice for your community?
So the title means to me is the community has saw fit to allow me to serve as one of its leaders. My goal is to hear from the community and make sure that I'm involved in the community. So as you mentioned, it's great to have some conversations with people right here because this is the community. These are the people who I serve and who have allowed me to do so.
Lenear says the 3rd Ward is filled with rich culture, great food, and wonderful people. Compared to the other 2 wards, it has the largest black population in Grand Rapids. But according to the Economic Development Department, it has the smallest investment, too.
What that data revealed was actually something that we all knew existed. Those of us who live here. We knew that we weren't seeing the same types of things happening in one place that they were happening in another. We didn't know how to frame it. We didn't know who was responsible for it, but we knew it existed.
To change that narrative, Lenear helped create the 3rd Ward Equity Fund. But it wasn't perfect right away.
So when it first was funded, it was funded at $250,000. Though I was grateful, I was disappointed.
Put that into context for me.
At that time, the city's budget was $500 million. So $250,000 isn't a lot.
Yeah.
And it isn't a lot for a ward that your data suggests that you haven't funded equitably.
She says progress has been made, though. The new budget they just passed puts aside $1 million for that fund, allowing them to continue pouring money into non-Southtown business districts, make direct business investments, and start a program that helps keep people who have maybe missed one payment or made one bad decision stay in their homes. Still, compared to the 1st and 2nd wards, she says the 3rd can be an afterthought.
Well, the 3rd Ward doesn't cross the downtown. And so a lot of the investments that are happening with river restoration, with the amphitheater, festivals, and other things that happens downtown, well, guess what? Hundreds of millions of dollars, are invested into those types of projects, which we're grateful for as citizens in the city because we are able to take some advantage of that. But it also is where people live too. And the amenities that exist there, people want that where they live as well. We need to get out of downtown sometimes and get into the neighborhood so we can see that there are so many other opportunities for these larger investments so that then you can have equity across all wards.
Lenear will soon be leaving her position, bringing an end to an 8-year tenure. Even though she'll be sitting on the other side of the room now in future meetings, her work, she says, is far from over.
This cannot be the end. And though I may be leaving my city commission seat soon, I will be knocking on the door as a citizen, making sure that that fund does not go away because it's necessary and it's needed. And I actually think that it needs to be funded even at a greater level.
You're still going to be very vocal, even if you're not going to be sitting along that panel during city commission meetings anymore. How do you feel leaving it in someone else's hands? And is that going to be difficult for you to be on the other side of things?
Here's the thing. I think I'm here to serve, and I think the people in this community will select the best person for them to serve beyond my tenure. I will stay engaged because I was engaged before I was a commissioner. So this doesn't go away. The level of engagement, the level of passion that I have for the community, that doesn't go away.
You're a mom, you're a business owner, you're very involved in the faith community here. How, currently, do you have time for all of these things?
What I call it is buckets. I put things in buckets. I think time management is the key. And then time boundaries, having some boundaries that allows you to not cross those, cross over into other spaces and other buckets too frequently. It's going to happen, but you don't want it to happen all the time.
Let's get to know Senita a little bit better then. All right. So favorite food?
Steak
Steak.
with a good potato.
Do you like to play any sports?
I did get a varsity letter when I was in high school in pom-pom. So that's my
In pom-pom?
yes.
Like cheerleading?
It's a combination of a little bit of cheering
Okay.
with dance.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different. And I cheered too, but it's a little bit different than cheering.
Yeah. And of course you remember most of the choreography today, right?
Not.
Okay. We'll end it on this. Is there any message that you want to give to the West Michigan community?
Community is what you make it. And I think that people in a strong community welcomes what they want and get rid of what they don't. Investing in community, giving people the resources to be who they want to be and to build the way they want to build is what and then move out of the way. Just allow them the access to be able to do what others are able to do. And so that's one of my missions as I'm doing community work, and I'm happy to do it right here in Grand Rapids.
Well,
Yep.
Senita Lenear, one of the 3rd Ward Commissioners, thank you very much for
pleasure.
telling us your story from the sidewalk. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Only one order of business left to do.
Okay, what's that?
Let's take a selfie. Oh, I think we got us both in there.
Looks like it.